Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new live stream. I know you haven't seen me in a while. I have been super busy, but I'm back at it and I have a real good one for you because Apple made this huge change that no one is talking about, including Apple. Apple is not talking about this, but it's super important for you and we're gonna kind of touch on it today. We're gonna talk about why it matters, how to work with it, and I'll do all that by looking at your apps if you submitted one. So I have a good one, but as per tradition, I did not forget. Tell me what's in your cup and where you're from. I am drinking Earl Grey tea in my new Appfigures mug that finally has our logo on it. That took a while. And I'm here in New York City. That's somewhere between summer and winter. It really depends on the day, the time, and the position of the moon. Well, really the position of the sun. So tell me where you're from, what's in your cup. As we wait for people to shuffle in, I'm looking at the chat, and we're going to get started very, very soon. Hopefully you submitted your app. We had a ton of submissions. I would love to get to all of them, but there's absolutely no way that's happening today. We had more than 100 submissions. I can probably do 5 or 6. So let's see who's in and who's going to get it. There's also something new in YouTube, which now shows who's the most chatty. And you will get a little crown with a number if you're the chattiest. So be chatty, but say meaningful things. Don't just say things. What do we got? Florida, Buenos Aires. Hello, Baltimore. Cold water in Manhattan. I like that. This is not cold at all. Quite the opposite. Poland, Istanbul. Wow, we're always international. I'm going to try and work on putting a map on the screen. I think it'll be really cool, and then we can see where all the people are from. But tell me also in your chat, when you tell me what's in your cup, what you are doing with your screenshots, and if you're building custom product pages. You'll see why I'm saying this very, very soon. Oh yeah, I see a lot of crowns in the chat, so we got people winning for the chattiest. Hello from India, from Canada, from Dubai, and Croatia. Oh, wow. So much is going on right now. And we're going to be talking about all of it, kind of. So today we're going to be talking about app product pages, specifically on the App Store, because this will make sense in a moment. But let me tell you something new. So Apple recently made a change to the algorithm and the way the algorithm works. Up until now, your screenshots were really important because it's what causes the conversion from a page view to a download. And we've talked about this here on this live stream a whole bunch of times, but Apple upped the stakes, and now they're also reading your screenshots with AI, and they're using that information to rank your apps. So not only is it leading to more conversion when you do your screenshots right, it's also leading to discovery. The whole thing. The whole thing. It took me a long time to figure this out, but I figured it out. I reverse engineered it, and then TechCrunch posted about it, asked Apple about it, and Apple did not say that I was wrong. And so that to me is Apple saying I'm right. So we have observed this over the last month and a half happening to almost every app in the App Store. Apps that are doing it right are getting a boost in ranks. Apps that are not doing it right are getting dropped. And some of you have already told me that you are getting dropped and you don't know why. Ranks change kind of erratically. Some went up, some went down, some recovered, some didn't, some made change, some didn't. And a lot of it is because all of these things that Apple did. So today, we're going to be talking about screenshots. I've done live screenshots before, live screenshot teardowns, and they're an incredible way to get the page views that you have to turn into downloads. And because now they're so much even more important, so much even, we're going to be talking about those. So people have submitted their apps, and I have picked some apps. And today I did something a little bit different, and I'm going to show you a new feature that I haven't really talked about yet because we just launched it fairly recently. So I think we're ready to get started. Hello to everyone in the chat. Enjoy your tea, and let's jump into it. If the app that I'm showing on the screen is yours, please let me know in the chat just so I know you're here, and if you have any questions, please ask them. Let's go to my computer. So the first app that got picked from the list of 100+ submissions is CookNest Recipe Organizer. And if you're curious what you're seeing on the screen, these are our new app profiles as part of our new app intelligence that just got released a few weeks ago. It takes all the data that we have and expands it and puts it in a central location so you can easily go between all of the different data sets that we have to offer in apps. And one of those is product pages, which I will show you in a moment. But let's get started with the screenshot. So if CookNest is in the crowd, please let me know so I know you're here. And let's see what I think about these screenshots. I haven't looked at most of these before, so I have an idea of what's going on because I put them on the screen, obviously, and I couldn't not look. But I didn't really dig in. I want to do all of that live so you can see how I think about this, and we can work on getting information together. Now, in addition to just my thoughts and ideas, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to show one competitor for each of the apps. I did it for the first few, so we can get an idea of what they're doing, and I chose as big of a competitor as I could find so we get as many ideas as possible. And so we'll start with this. This is an app about a recipe organizer. I've seen these before. I know this is a thing that works on the App Store. What I'm missing here, just at a glance, is pictures of food. This is not pictures of food. This is not exciting. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean this in a, you have an opportunity here to get me salivated and thinking, yes, I want this. And pictures of food are the thing I would expect. I see them here, but they're small and they're on screenshot number 3, and you have an app preview. So I'm not really going to see them initially when I look at the app. And I think that's actually hurting your conversion. If you can introduce more pictures of food here right in the beginning, I think you'll actually get much better results. So that's really tip number 1 that I would say in the case of CookNest. Import recipes from your favorite apps. Interesting. Digitize your handwritten recipes. Okay, I can get behind that. Your recipe book always with you. All recipes in one place. That's a lot of text. Share and collaborate with friends and family. That's kind of cool. I mean, I think that deserves to be up higher in the list. That's a better feature, or at least you should test this sort of a thing. Automatic nutritional data calculation, kind of cool too. Smart shopping list. I see we changed this a little bit. Cooking has never been so easy. Automatic nutritional data. I don't know why this is here. So, I mean, overall, this is not terrible. I see the stuff that I want to see. And now thinking about the algorithm reading this with AI, there are a bunch of keywords in here. So recipes are in here, recipes are in here, recipes are in here. And that repetition is actually good. I know you might not understand why I'm saying repetition is good, but I tested this. And when it comes to screenshots, you do have to repeat keywords. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, I wrote a guide about this that became very, very popular a few weeks ago. We'll link to it in the chat so you can see what I'm talking about. But I have all the details of what I found, how it works, what you need to do, and all the little details that will make you take advantage of this in the bestest of ways. I did say bestest. So, okay, continuing here, there's more. So the main thing that I see here is I'm not as excited about this, and I think you have the opportunity to really excite me because of pictures of food. So that's what I would look at. Also, there's a lot of text going on, and while this is not bad, I think you can make this a little bit more succinct because people don't read. You want them to, and I want them to, but they're not going to. So it would make a lot of sense if you make this a little bit more to the point. So your recipe book, always with you, all your recipes in one place. Why do I need this? Am I really a traveling chef? Because if I'm not a traveling chef, I don't really care about this, or at least I don't think I care about this. So why would I want my recipe book with me at all time? Is that because I want to be able to cook wherever I am? That's much shorter. That's also much more to the point. That sort of thing. So I would do that for really all of these screenshots. I think that's something that can really help. The other thing is I think the fonts here could be a little bit more friendly. Fonts that are slightly shorter and more chubby feel more friendly. And I think that would help in this case as well, because these are not terrible again, but these could be improved. One of the things that you could try, and I don't know how this is going to work, this is something I'm experimenting with on the side, feed this to your favorite AI, be it Claude or ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini, and see if they can recommend better fonts from Google Fonts, which are free, and you can use them commercially. Don't just take fonts from anywhere. Don't ask me how I know. So those are a few things that I see right away. But I think really here is your big problem, where on the first screenshot, I'm not really that excited. I just see a bunch of icons that I see on my phone, and I could not care any less. And so I think you have an opportunity here. Even if you take something like this, like what we see here with the screenshots coming directly from the app, it's so much more exciting, and I think that will help you with your conversion drastically. Now, you also have an app preview, and you can say maybe that is what people are going to look at, but I think people look at screenshots before they look at videos, and that's how they make their determination. So realistically, I wouldn't really focus just on the app preview video. Although, let's see the app preview video. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, this is, I still don't get this, like really in my face, really colorful, really nice foods, and that's what I really want to see from an app that's all about food, and an app that will help me with everything food related. So I think you have a great opportunity here for improving your conversion rate by really spicing up the screenshots by adding more, maybe even pictures directly, images directly from your app, because you have a way to show images in the app. So that's 2 for 1. I don't see any reason not to do that. Now, here's another thing. Before you make any changes, if you're planning to make any changes, don't just change these screenshots. A/B test them. Apple and Google both have A/B testing frameworks. They're free. They're an amazing way to make sure that what I'm saying here is not completely silly and may not work for your audience. So if you have ideas that you want to test, run an A/B test. As long as you have some number of page impressions, you will be able to A/B test them. The number of page impressions will really lead to how many days you need to run this experiment over to get some sort of meaningful results, but that's pretty much it. Most apps get some visibility, and that visibility will lead to you knowing what's going to convert better. And I bet you that making this more app-focused, more food-focused, will really get people looking. And so one thing that I did was I found the app that I believe leads in this niche of apps, and that's Resemi. And the reason I think they lead is if you look at our estimates for them, 589,000 downloads in the last 30 days, and that's even after being down a little. So maybe something changed with Apple ads or because of the changes to ASO, to the algorithm. So after a job, they're still getting more than 500,000 downloads, and they're making a ton of money. So what I did for them is, what we can do for them is, let's look at their screenshots first. And they did exactly what I would imagine. They have interesting, exciting foods in all of those screenshots. And you got some colors, you got some reds, you got some greens, you got some oranges. So I want to look at these screenshots. Now, they also did what I said with fonts. I did not advise them on this, but these fonts are a little bit chubbier and they feel a little bit more friendly. Hopefully that translates through the screen. So most of the screenshots here have some sort of a visual that is exciting, that is eye-catching. Their captions are much shorter, and I think this converts considerably better, and that is your opportunity. You have a great opportunity because you can do the same thing, and you will get more visibility. I don't know if the orange selection of the theme is similar because of this app, but whatever it is, you can continue and take inspiration from this app and make it work. And you see even the preview is a little bit more colorful, a little bit more food-oriented, and a little bit more vibrant. So you see a lot of foods, food number 1, food number 2. And I don't know if you have all the same features, so I'm not saying copy this set of screenshots, but I'm saying take inspiration from what's going on. And another thing I want to look at, and this is also really important, in iOS 26, the latest release of iOS, Apple is now allowing custom product pages, which are custom sets of screenshots, to be connected to organic keywords. Up until now, they were only connected to your Apple ad campaigns. And so what you can do with this is you can test different types of creatives, different types of screenshots based on the intent of the user. So if a user is looking for YouTube recipe tracker, let's just say, you can have a set of screenshots that is actually focused on YouTube. And that will give you more conversion because the user sees what they are actually expecting. So we can see all the custom product pages for apps in our new app intelligence. This is one of our new features. And we can see that Resemi has 3 custom product pages with a heck of a lot of screenshots. with app previews and localizations, and we can see what they're trying to do. So they have one that is much similar to yours, the one that we just looked at, where there are app icons, but they're not app icons, they're just logos, but they also have more food. And you can see these are all about importing, but they're still focused on food. This cookie is interesting, whatever this is interesting, some green here. Let's see what else is going on. This feels very, very similar. This is kind of similar. It's probably just shifting the screenshots. So looking at this makes me really comfortable with my advice. You need to introduce more foods into your screenshots, and you need to shorten your captions and also make them more friendly. This took a little bit longer than I expected, so I'm going to try and get through more. But if you like what I'm doing here with the competitors, please let me know, because that's a new thing I'm testing, and I don't know if this makes sense. But let's go to the chat for a little bit and see if there's anything interesting that I should be looking at. I have not done that yet. But let's see what's in our chat. So a lot of stuff is going on in the chat, as expected. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, we'll begin in the beginning. Begin in the beginning. Okay, this is actually an interesting one. So let's take some questions from the chat. We'll start with this one. Sager is saying, I have a question. I put a video preview with a screenshot with it, and with it tanked the conversion for my app. Don't know why. So this is an interesting one. Videos are really, really tricky. If you do a good job, you will increase your conversion in most cases. If you do a poor job, because they autoplay in some cases, and because you see them immediately, they will catch your eye. So if you do a bad job, if it doesn't look professional, if it doesn't flow, if what you show is irrelevant, you do run the risk of it losing you a conversion, and you don't want to do that. So if you're making a video, make sure that it's a good video. If you're not making a video, don't make a video. Or if you can't make a really good video, it's better to not. Let's see. Let's see. More questions. There are a few questions that are not related, so I'm going to skip them for now because we need to stay on track. There's a question about app tags, also new in iOS 26. I think I will try to cover them if time allows me at the end, because they're not as relevant to this. Let's see what else. Okay, this is an interesting question from BN. Should fonts in your screenshots match the fonts in your apps? I don't think so. I don't think there's any relevancy, and no one is going to think about it or compare them at all. I would imagine that maybe the same mindset will flow across both. So the way you talk about your app is probably the way the app is, but it doesn't have to be it. The way you talk about your app is really how you cater to your audience, and the way the app works is really how you build your UI. I don't think they need to coexist somehow, or they can coexist. They don't need to be the same. Theo is asking, how do frequent updates without metadata updates affect rankings? They don't really. The algorithm isn't expecting you to change your metadata with every actual update. So if you have new metadata, great. If you don't have any new metadata, the algorithm's not going to care. Another question, can we display other apps icons, TikTok on the screenshot? I searched that it's safer to just display Apple default app to do license and stuff. So you shouldn't really display any other app icons unless they make sense. So if you're importing from TikTok, that's probably fine. If you're saying best on TikTok, that might be problematic. If you're saying just like TikTok, that's probably going to be a no, because you're using their logo in a way that is not really allowed. So as long as it makes sense for a user to see it and not think that you're a TikTok, or that you're better than TikTok, or that you're partnering with TikTok, or really anything like that, and just understand the technical requirement or the technical limitation of what you're trying to say, then it's going to be fine. What else do we have? Another question, what's the ideal time to run an A/B test for, as I've been on the other side of the experiment, was lower than later, it went above the baseline one. I'm not entirely sure what you mean, but if it's a matter of time, the longer you run an experiment, really the better, because you have more stability. And you'll see that in the beginning, your experiment will probably fluctuate. Maybe it will show that the baseline is winning, not the baseline. The original is winning, maybe one of the alternatives, depending on how many you run, but you have to give it enough time. There's usually, in all A/B testing systems, there's a way to see if your if your results are statistically significant, and if they're not, continue testing. If they are, then you have enough information. It really depends on the number of page views. Jay saying, can you use screenshots outside your app? I'm not entirely sure what that means, so maybe clarify this and I will try to answer it. Let's see. Okay. And Leonardo is asking, how do you link custom product pages to keywords? This is new in App Store Connect. There's a session in App Store Connect. I'm making a video about it too. I need to figure out a few more details before I do, but keep an eye on the channel and you will see it. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I have a bunch of standalone videos and live streams coming out all about everything new in discovery from App Store Connect. And there's so much stuff. And I've been testing so many keywords and so many different variation of things using some AI that I built and some new tools that we're building. So make sure you're subscribed. Now, okay, let's jump back into my computer so we can continue looking at apps. Otherwise, I don't think we'll get to many more. Okay, so we looked at this. Let's continue to the next one. Next one is workout tracker Overlo. Okay, so a workout tracker. We've looked at a bunch of workout trackers if you've been following me on these live streams, and there are so many, and they're so competitive. They're using Apple ads, they're using ASO really well. So if you're in this niche, get ready to compete, because there's no other way to make any money. So what do we got? We got a screenshot that really has no information, but it's got an icon that we already see. Right off the bat, I can tell you this is a colossal waste of pixels. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's just it's not giving the user anything to latch onto, so it's not giving the user any reason to convert. Nor is this. Makes tracking stupid easy. Tracking of what? I don't really see anything exciting going on here. So unless I know exactly what I want, and it's whatever is on the screen, unless I really need a chest dip counter, this means nothing to me. And this is your first two screenshots. So you have limited space to make your first impression, and you're taking this space and you're saying, I'm not going to make a first impression. Do not look at me. And that's not good. So continuing, you also don't really have any keywords in here that the algorithm can read. So from a discovery standpoint, this is really, really bad. Conversion is not happening. Discovery is not happening. And this is also a great opportunity because it means that you can put some screenshots, some keywords here, and you can show the app in action here. And I have a competitor for this too, and I'm going to show you what their custom product pages look like so we can get an idea of what it means to try and convert on the first screenshot, which really is what you should be aiming for. But let's continue. Track every rep and set. That's kind of cool. Things like this, like the little text over here, and I've seen a bunch of apps do this. They make sense in theory because you want to add context to what you're saying here, but no one reads them. So they're small, they're not really that much in your face, they're kind of gray. They don't feel like you need to read them, especially not when you have this beautiful screen right below, and there's a chart, and there are colors, and there's a little cup. And so a lot of stuff is going on here. You read this first, then you get lost in this, and this kind of disappears. So if it disappears, don't have it. And if you don't have it, you'll say, how do I give context? And that means you have to change your captions. Track every rep and set is good for someone who knows what they're doing and they're looking for something specific. And that's great. I bet you a lot of the downloads are coming from those people. But for the people who are not exactly sure, give them a little bit of a nudge. Try to bring this into here. And this is very similar to what I said for the previous app. You want to make your captions as short as possible and as punchy as possible, because tracking every rep and set is something every workout tracker is going to say. I guarantee it 100%. Give me something unique with tracking every rep and set for me to look at. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's the visualization. Maybe you have the best visualizations in the world, and you should definitely highlight that more so than telling me what every other app does. Now, we're on the third screenshot at this point. So if I'm seeing this for the first time, what I'm seeing is really these three. And these three, they're not really giving me an amazing picture of what's going on. So if I'm in the market for a workout tracker and this didn't really excite me, I might download it and might download a whole bunch of others because I'm just going through the list and trying to get as many as possible. But I may just continue to something else that feels a little bit more user-friendly, especially if I'm not a pro or not interested in whatever I see here, which is highly likely. Or if this app is not number one, if I didn't get number one, or I got number one and didn't like it, if I'm getting to this app, I'm not probably going to convert. So your discovery is helping, but your lack of conversion is really hurting. And that's only the first three. I have a feeling that we're going to come up on pretty much the same sort of advice for all of them. But let's see what we got. Share your gains. Okay, interesting. I think anything that has to do share with friends is good, and you should highlight it as quickly as possible. Not all apps have the ability to collaborate or share easily, and the ones that do could win. Build your program. I'm assuming this is build your workout program, and if I do go to the gym all the time, I might know what this is. I don't. So I have to think about it extra, and if I'm thinking about it extra, that might be a little bit too much. Avoid overtraining. Why would I want to avoid overtraining? It sounds like if I train more, I'm going to lose more weight. If I lose more weight, that's more good, right? I know it isn't, but I think that's one of those things where it makes sense to someone who knows. It doesn't make sense to someone who doesn't. Focus, no distractions. Again, I get why, but I don't really get why. And I think this is actually one of the best screenshots that you have in here. Show me that other people use it. There is so much variety when it comes to fitness trackers. Why would I choose this one? And so I think we have, the look here is good. I like the feel. I think the font is pretty welcoming and nice. Now what you have to do is you really have to focus. You have to think about why are people getting this? And if your audience is really people who know what they're doing, who are looking for something very specific, maybe you want to lean into some of the more specific features and not go very generic like everyone else. And if your audience isn't, then stay high level. Tell people the benefits they're going to get out of this. Tracking every rep and set is not a benefit. That's a feature. I can track it. I can do it in Excel if I really wanted to. But what am I going to get out of tracking reps and reps and sets? That's the kind of thing that this should show. And I have a feeling we'll see this in most other screenshots. But please, please do something here. Bring me some sort of social proof. Maybe take this, make it maybe something that's a little bit easier to more palatable, because makes tracking stupid easy is nice. But again, if you don't get it, you don't get it. And I think most people are not going to get it. So that's what I would say. I would say take advantage of the first two screenshots. They're really, really important. And then knowing your audience, or at least understanding from your reviews, read your reviews and see the level of fitness that people are bringing to this app, and use that to determine whether this is going to be the kind of thing where you're focusing on very specific technical features for the very advanced, or you're trying to make people think about workout in the context of their lives. Lose weight, gain muscle, get a six-pack. All of those things are reasons people are working out. They're not working out to track their reps. Most people, I should say. Not all people, obviously. Most people. So I looked up another app that is big in this industry, and there are so many apps in this niche, and many of them make money. So I picked one that I've looked at before in multiple live streams. They always come up. Home workout, no equipments. And the only reason I remember them is because they write no equipments, which I find funny. I find funny, but yet they have almost 400,000 downloads according to our estimates, and made $471,000 in the last 30 days. And this is net, meaning this is after fees on the Apple side of things. So that's pretty good for them. Equipments or no equipments, clearly this works. So let's see if they're using custom product pages. And they do, most likely because they're running Apple ads. And let's see what they have. So right out of the gate, they're making full use of the first two screenshots. That's absolutely something you have to do. If, for everyone listening and watching this, if you have screenshots that are kind of like what we just saw, where they're very limited on keywords or very limited on showing benefits as in position 1 and 2, please replace them quickly. Like right after this, go replace them, release an update, and you'll thank me almost immediately. So no equipments is, what are they doing here? They're showing a person, and they're showing what the app can do for them, and there's social proof. Haha. Also here, you can say see changes, and this talks directly about the benefit of working out. So this is not about tracking or anything. This is about working out. Now, this may not be exactly the same app. The features might not be exactly the same. This might be more about the actual fitness. But at the end of the day, when someone is looking for something in this niche, they're probably going to come across these apps as well. And that's what they're going to have in mind. So keep this in mind. You don't have to copy this, but you have to let this inspire you to do your own screenshots. Hit target area, maximize effort. So again, these are talking about benefits. You want to get that six-pack. And this is specifically oriented towards women, as we can see by the color, and we can see by pretty much all of the pictures. Now, keep in mind, these are custom product pages. So in the world of Apple ads, these are all related most likely to women fitness, women workout at home, women workouts, stuff like that. And that's how they can do this. And that's why this is so powerful. Now, when organic comes up, in iOS 26, they will do the same because they have these and they know they work, and they're going to get even more conversion from organic. This is going to be incredible. Probably one of the biggest changes Apple has introduced to the App Store in who knows how long. Now, continuing through all the screenshots, you can see there are many pictures. They're all attractive, and all the captions are really, really short, to the point, and they're all about benefits. And just like what we saw with women, we see with men something very, very similar. Social proof, losing weight, specific things that you can do, and all of the images, just like what we saw in the recipe app, they're all very vibrant. Look at the colors. It's stuff that you want to do. You want to be able to lose weight. You want to be able to take your fitness to the next level, and they're showing you that you can. And before, we didn't really see that. And let's see what else we have here. Oh, okay, men, women, and a couple. So that works very, very well. And we can see that they have more generic keywords going into the couple. So six-pack, abs, workout, abdominal workout. Okay, 2,800 keywords. We'll worry about those later. But you can tell that a lot of these keywords point to the more for everyone, where the women's and the men's are going to be pointed directly at the gender. So that's what I would do here. Again, and just to give you the perspective, this is an app that's getting 500,000 downloads, and this is what we're looking at. And you can see the contrast in how much more exciting those other screenshots are, and more exciting means more likely to drive a conversion. So that's where I would go with this, but please, whatever you do, just start by replacing these, even if you take some other screenshots and put them up front. I think that's going to help you right out of the gate. So let's take some more notes, some more comments from the chat. What do we got in the chat? A lot is going on here. Okay, here's another question that the answer to is very clear. Should everyone be creating a custom product page? Yes, absolutely. Go and create a custom product page. It's super, super, super easy. And even if you want to test the ability to switch between the position of things, you can for specific keywords. So if you have an app that does 3 things, and in your main product page you have 3 different screenshots, you can move the screenshot that is most relevant for the keyword that you want to target to the first position. This is the laziest way to do it and the simplest way to do it. And if you're doing nothing else, at least do this. So I would say absolutely, definitely, this is what it is. Okay, this is a good one. So Mike is saying, since stating benefits is better than stating features, how does that impact screenshots now, since benefits probably don't rank as good as features? I would not make this argument necessarily. I don't know that features and benefits don't actually have similar or same or even better value. So really it's all about what kind of keywords, what kind of intents people are looking for. So am I looking for a workout rep tracker? Am I looking for something else that's very specific? Or am I looking for losing weight? And mostly I would look for the benefit. So if you are doing your keyword research properly, you'll see that people are looking for their intent, and their intent is usually a benefit. Most people are not looking for features. So take the time and do your research and make sure that you know what people are looking for in your specific niche. Now, if you're still somehow running into you need features and also benefits, there are always ways to construct titles that have both, or you can include them in general. So you can state the benefit very, very succinctly, and then list a feature or two that get you to the benefit if you really want to include those keywords in your screenshots. There are many, many, many nice and beautiful ways to do this, as long as you know what you have to include for people to convert and for people to get to find the app. So make sure you do your keyword research before you assume that people want or don't want something specific. Okay, and following up, benefit, enjoy cooking again versus feature, organize your recipes. Now, is enjoy cooking again really a benefit that people are looking for? If they're not looking for it, then there's no real way to even have them in the screenshots in that type of a way. Maybe the benefit is keep your recipes organized, because keeping recipes not organized is actually a huge pain. And so that is more important than enjoy cooking again. I don't know if I will look at a screenshot and it will organize my recipes and that will give joy to me as I cook. Is that why I'm not really enjoying cooking? Because my recipes are not organized? If that's the case, then that's what your users want, and then they would be searching for enjoy cooking, because they're not looking to organize their recipes, they're looking to enjoy the experience. And then you want to target that anyway, because that's how they're searching. See what I'm going here? Hopefully. Okay. Let's see if we have any more questions. We have a whole bunch of questions, but let's see if we can take any very, very quickly. Okay, this is an interesting question. In one of my AI apps, the ASO strategy I used worked really well, but in another similar AI app, the exact same strategy doesn't work. What should I do to get better results in the second app? Considering there are no details in this question, I don't know. But what I would recommend is you can't really copy and paste ASO, especially not when you cut across different categories or niches or micro categories, because just like people are different, intents are different, and how they go about searching is different. So I don't know what your strategy is or what the app does, which makes it very difficult to actually answer this question. But what I can tell you is, whatever the essence of the original strategy, or for app number 1, use the essence for app number 2. Don't use the same strategy. So don't use the same keywords, or don't use the same way of constructing your app name and subtitle and keyword list and screenshots. Make sure that the how you approach them to figure out how to do it for app number 1 is how you do it for app number 2. That's the best I can do given all of this information. Another question, repeating keywords in screenshots, making your app go down in ranking means use screenshots just for more keywords. No, not at all. I am saying make sure that your screenshots also incorporate the keywords that people are searching for in order to find your app. So not just for keywords. If you do it just for keywords, you're going to lose out on conversion, and then you're really shooting yourself in the foot, because you're going to get more discovery and less conversion, probably not more downloads or more revenue. But if you get more discovery because you incorporated the keywords into your screenshots the right way, and you keep them in a way that makes sense to your users, then you're going to get the conversion too. So more discovery and more conversion, more win. That's how I would go about doing this. Okay, follow-up question. Is there a point to look for if keywords are seasonal? Absolutely. It really depends, and for most apps, maybe this is not going to be the case, but for many apps, it could be the case. You should look if keywords are seasonal. Now, in things like, I'm trying to think what would be seasonal, maybe apps that have to do with sports. That can definitely be seasonal, and you can cater to those using the localizations that I talk about all the time, or not just or, and with custom product pages. So if your app targets maybe some sort of sports live streaming, or maybe an app for soccer, for example, there are different games, there are different teams, and you can customize your pages for the different teams, but also there are different leagues, and different leagues might play at different times, finals might be at different times. You might want to follow those trends and make sure that you include the keywords and incorporate the keywords as those events happen before, obviously. That's what I would do with that. Let's see what else. Okay, an interesting question that I didn't think I would see, and that is, what's the best platform to do A/B testing for App Store? App Store Connect. It's the only platform that can actually do A/B testing for the App Store. And it's free, and it's built in, and you're paying for it already as a developer. So go into your App Store Connect account and look for product page optimizations. I think that's what it is. They have funny names. Okay, let's continue then to our next app and see what we got. What do we have in the next app? Next up, we have, where am I? Here. So we did this. What is this? LingUp. So what is the LingUp? English speaking LingUp. Speak and learn English with AI. Okay, that's kind of cool. I really like the colors on this. At first glance, this just jumps in my face, and I like that it's jumping in my face. Get better at speaking English with your AI language partner. I was at a party not too long ago, and I met someone who had a similar app. I don't think it's this app. And we had a long conversation about it. It's such an intriguing market, and I think AI is really the thing to use for something like this. I talked to another developer who developed an app that uses AI, voice AI specifically for accent training, which I think is so cool. This is the kind of stuff we couldn't do up until, just a few years ago. This is a great use of technology. So get better at speaking English with your AI language partner. That works for me. Users speak over 1,500 words allowed in the first 7 days. I don't know if that's a selling feature for me. I already speak English, so I'm not sure. But even if I thought about a different language, I don't know if this comes from an A/B test and knowing this works, or maybe from understanding the audience. And if it did, great. At a glance, this does not resonate with me as much. English pronunciation checker and practice tool. That's pretty cool. Again, that's what the AI is for. I think that's really good use of technology. Grammar checker and corrector. And what we see here is what I gave advice in the other app. So the LingUp is actually doing a really good job. I think the colors are really popping in my face. The fonts, I would make the fonts a little bit more friendly, but I think this is a nitpick at this point. But the captions are really short. That's really what matters the most. And optimizing something like this is actually a lot more challenging because there's a lot going on here that is right. Let's see what else. Learn new English words and phrases. Sure, that's cool. Speak English like a native speaker. Okay, that's a big claim, but that's also cool. Personalized conversation for your level. So everything on here is really selling me on why I should be getting this. Track your progress, get better at speaking English. So this is, we probably switch device sizes. All this looks really, really good. The one thing that I would recommend here, and I think that's what would probably help, because now we're talking about micro optimizations. This is really good. Learn from this. I would love to see some social proof. So if you have any sort of reviews that are really, really good, or something that was cited by the media on TechCrunch, on the New York Times, on something, really anything that most people or some people would recognize as being big, even if they don't know it, as long as it looks legitimate. So not your mom's opinion, but something else. If the app was featured, really anything like that, I would highlight it right away. And the reason is, when you think about language learning, everyone thinks about Duolingo. Duolingo has done an amazing job of getting to everyone's minds. They're on everyone's minds. Duo is doing weird things all over the place, stupid PR stunts, and all of that leads to them being a household name. So when someone thinks about learning English, they're not necessarily thinking about LingUp. They might be thinking, I want Duolingo. So your challenge is, how do I tell the user that this isn't Duolingo? This is either better than Duolingo or more specific than Duolingo, more better for you than Duolingo. And to me, that's really the challenge you have. That's the mountain you have to climb here. And you can do that with more social proof. More social proof, more people liking this means that this worked for someone else. And if it did, that's kind of good. So I did want to look at a competitor. I did not want to look at Duolingo, because Duolingo is a large app. They have a lot of resources, and you might think that everything is tested and over-tested. So I took the second app that I could think of, and that's Babbel. Babbel has been trying to compete with Duolingo for so long, and they're not doing as well. If we look at the overview for Duolingo versus them. Actually, let's see what Duolingo has. So Duolingo, okay, considerably more than Babbel. Where's Babbel? Babbel is here. But at the same time, they are trying to compete with Duolingo. This is probably app number 2 when I think about language learning. And so if we want to learn from someone, we should learn from them. So let's go into their product pages, because they have what feels like infinity product pages to learn from, 31. We're not even going to have enough time to go through all of them, but I just want to give you an idea of what they're trying to focus on. Now, this is a little bit different than LingUp because this is a full language learning app where LingUp is very, very hyper specific. And that's a good thing. Again, we're not trying to copy. We're not trying to take exactly what they're doing. We're trying to get inspired and see what they are seeing their users really converting with so we can take that and use in our app. So you see, they did what I did again. I did not advise them. Language learning, languages, we don't really care about that because the LingUp is focused on English, but 500,000 plus 5-star ratings, that's the beginning of social proof. I think some sort of a review would have been much better here, but at the same time, showing that people like this is the way to go. 500,000 people gave it a 5-star rating. That's incredible. Like, why wouldn't I want this? It's not Duolingo, but why wouldn't I want this? Start speaking right away, which maybe is what the 1,500 words spoken in the first week meant to do, something like that. But again, you see here the captions are very, very short. We're not really diving too deep into whole sentences and subtitles because no one is going to read them, and Babbel knows this. Short lessons created by experts, so experts, again, some sort of social proof. Real-life dialogues, not very different than what we saw with LingUp. So again, LingUp is doing a pretty good job. But if we want to hyper-focus and hyper-localize, hyper-optimize, we can learn from this. Variety of learning methods, review exercises to make it stick, build a learning habit, and we can see what else they're doing. We can see what kind of colors they're using. We can see what kind of progression they're using. I bet you using people in those screenshots is really, really helpful, and they have them in quite a few of them, and you see even more of this. I went from total beginner to real life conversation in 3 months. Why wouldn't you want that? When you think about a language, that's exactly what you want. If 3 months or 3 weeks, that would have been better, but I don't think that's reasonably acceptable. So going through this is giving us a whole bunch of ideas. And because these are custom product pages, we can look what Babbel is doing for specific languages, like German in this case. German for beginners, you got some German related things. I think here some sort of social proof in German would have been a lot better, but that's a different problem. Courses developed by experts, join over 10 million learners today. So again, trying to show we have a lot of users, you should join us too. And mostly what they had before, features/benefits that work really well, but they're all really custom tailored to German. Berlin, it was German before. Let's see if there's anything else interesting going on here. Speak the language of summer. That's a fun one. That's definitely seasonal. Effective language learning, fast way to learn, 16 million subscriber or subscription sold. So we're really, and you've seen this across pretty much everything we've looked at so far, people are interested in, or developers are putting social proof or size of user base on screenshot number one. And these are big developers, big apps. They probably tested this, and even if they did it, it's working for them. You want that to work for you too. Now, you probably don't have 16 million subscriptions, and that's okay, but find a number that makes sense and feels good. If you have 10,000 ratings, that's a lot of ratings. Even if you have 5,000 ratings, that's a lot of ratings. Most people don't think in those terms, so they're not going to say, oh, but it's only got 5,000 ratings. It's like 5,000 ratings, and that's what we want. Well, we kicked it up a notch to 2 million here. Was a little bit less before. Here we get a promotion. I don't know if Apple would like this. I think Apple will be okay. And you can scroll through the rest and you'll continue to get ideas to get inspired by. So switching to this, now that you have some perspective, this is still good. Everything that I see on the screen is actually good, but we saw some additional ideas that we can use to spice these up a little bit and make them feel a little bit more professional. And I think that's going to really, really help you. Okay, let's take some more questions, and then I think I have one more app in on the to-do list that I can do. Let's see if we can do this. So let's see. Jennifer is asking, if we add app reviews, let me put this on the screen. If we add app reviews as social proof to our screenshots, could that create unnecessary keywords indexed by the algorithm, making the important keywords way less? Yes, it definitely can. I think Apple has some sort of a mechanism to determine what's relevant and what's irrelevant. I think it's font size. I'm not 100% sure. I need a ton more time before I can actually tell you that. But even in the guide that I wrote, I put out the idea that maybe Apple is not scanning the entire screenshot, or maybe Apple is valuing items a little bit less as you get lower in the page. I've not seen enough evidence to actually say that's happening, but it would make sense if Apple is doing some sort of a weight for different things based on maybe text size, considering that they're expecting screenshots and screenshots will have text. I would not use this as a reason why not to put any sort of social proof or customer reviews in the screenshot. I think the benefit that you would get from it adding to conversion is going to outweigh the potential that we are not fully sure is actually a problem with Apple and keywords. Okay, so another question. You mentioned earlier that text in screenshots is also possibly getting indexed. Not possibly, it's definitely getting indexed. Have you seen more data to back that up? I haven't seen evidence for that in keywords that I track. Absolutely. I looked at thousands of keywords, thousands of apps. I looked at thousands of changes. I used AI because it was just so much data and I had to analyze it. I am 100% sure this is happening. And again, TechCrunch asked Apple about this and Apple didn't say no. So to me, that's an absolute yes. And they also said that they're looking at screenshots, at text in the screenshots for tags, which makes perfect sense. So I am sure this is happening. The only question is, if you haven't seen any sort of impact from your own keywords, how do you do your keywords in your screenshots? This is very, very new, and it's very possible that Apple's changing things as now they realize that people know about this, thanks to someone. But it's also possible that you are not putting the keywords in the right place. It's possible there are too many keywords, not enough repetition. Maybe they're not visible enough. Maybe there's something going on that's making the AI not be able to read them. So there are so many possibilities for why it's not working out, just like with regular keywords in the app name, subtitle, and keyword list, that to just say it doesn't work, so it's not happening, is absolutely false at this point. I've looked at it enough times. I'm rarely so sure about these things, especially with changes that Apple's making without telling anyone, but I've just seen an enormous amount of evidence. And the more people tell me that they don't see evidence, the more evidence I see and the more it makes sense. So do take the time to try and optimize for this, because bottom line, it's always going to help. Even if it does nothing, it will help you with your users. So there's really no way to lose. Let's see. Ooh, a question that I do not know the answer to. Are screenshots from A/B tests also going to be indexed? I have no clue. I think it's way too early to tell. It's going to take time because this data is, the keywords in the screenshots are just an additional component to everything else that's going on. They're not replacing keywords from the name, the subtitle, the keyword list. So to see all that in the wild, it just takes time. So maybe at this point, I probably think not, if you ask me. But we'll see as we get our hands on more data. And then one more question that I already answered. Do you think repeating keywords in the screenshots has an effect, good or bad? Good. Repeat keywords, please, at least 3 times. Okay. Let's do we have time? We have time. Let's do one more app and see what we can find. So what's next on my list? We looked at this, Stilit, and I don't think I actually found a competitor for this because I ran out of time when I was prepping, which is perfect. So what is this? Let's see, AI Avatar and Art Studio. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but we'll continue. With single tap, studio quality professional photos. I have never seen an app that can take this picture and turn it into this picture without it looking like AI, so if this does it, that would be amazing. I tried a whole bunch for a very long amount of time. So I think right out of the gate, there is this assumption that everyone will just believe you, and I do not. So this to me is not a good start. But let's see what else is going on. Ready to post studio quality photos. Turn heads, spark envy. Okay. Transform your look, instant it. Generate endless variations. Okay, and then we go to more things. So where do I begin? A lot of opportunity is where I would start, because I don't exactly know what I'm going to get out of this app. I think I can intuitively think about what I'm going to get out of this app. But if you need your user to think about what they're going to get out of this app and you're not spelling it for them and you're not slapping them in the face with it, they're not going to get it. So this is, from a conversion standpoint, challenging for the user because there's a lot going on. And unlike the other screenshots, this does what I said the other apps should do. These are all impressive. These are all attractive. The guy's in a nice suit. The girls are in nice dresses. Like, all this feels right. But then at the same time, I have no clue what's going on here. What do I need to do? Show me the progress. This is a good starting point. I think this is a good starting point because it says upload this, get this. But it doesn't really say that. I know this, mostly because I've used a bunch of these apps. But it doesn't really help me. Also, this is trying to fake an Apple feature, and those rarely work. And even if they do, that's not what you want to do. If you have a single review that's good, a single 5-star review that you can replace and put here, that would give you tremendously more conversion because people don't necessarily know what this stands for. So we know what this stands for as developers, and even though I know that this isn't what it is, but where I would go with this is tell me, show me that someone else loves this. And because they love this, I will love this too. So again, step number 1, always try to get as much social proof as you can into the beginning of the screenshots, but also try to explain to me what's going to happen. I upload one picture, I get an amazing picture, or I upload a picture that I took for fun and I get this professional looking picture that now I can upload to my LinkedIn or something like that. And that's really the challenge. So there are pictures here and they're kind of cool and I like what's going on, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure what happens. Now you can say, okay, so the user uploaded this and got this. Maybe that's the case. There's nothing here that actually says that. The caption here doesn't really allude to this became this. There's no arrow. And even if there was, or maybe this was uploaded, I'm not entirely sure. Stuff is happening here. And what happened here? Was this uploaded and these were generated? Were these uploaded and this was generated? There's so much confusion and the caption is kind of small, so I don't really know what's going on. I think that's really the theme of what I would do here. Tell me what's going on. Make it brutally simple for me. Consider that I'm really, really not interested in learning about the app. I just want to get something done. And what I want to get done is I have one picture and I want to upload a better picture to, let's say, a bio because I wrote an article and someone asked me for my picture. That's the kind of thing that I want. Or maybe this is for dating. Maybe this is for your dating profile. And you have some pictures that are nice, but they're not really polished, and this can polish them. Give me reasons to want this. That's really the key. Once you do that, the implementation is secondary. So making these captions a little bit larger and making the font a little bit actually less chubby here because you're not looking for friendly, you're looking for precise, you're looking for luxury, and those fonts tend to be a little bit more skinny and a tiny bit taller. So I wouldn't even worry about any of those. I would first worry about how do I get the user to understand what's going on and to see the need for it. And once you do everything else, I bet you'll get better conversion. Now, from a keyword standpoint, there is a need for more keywords because none of these are really the kind of keywords that would give you more discovery. So ready to post studio quality photos. I don't think anyone is looking for ready to post studio quality photos. Let's see what's happening here. Single tap, studio quality, professional photos, turn heads, spark envy. Like, no one is looking for those things. So people are looking for something that will transform their photos, that will improve their photos with AI, that will make them more professional. Those are the kind of keywords that I would be looking at. So I would go into Keyword Inspector, my favorite tool, and use that to try to understand what people are looking for. And I guarantee you that between those two things, you will be able to get more discovery and more conversion. And one easy, very, very quick tip is look at your app's name. If I look at this, AI Avatar and Art Studio, I don't really see AI avatar really anywhere here. I don't even see AI in any of the screenshots. So I don't know if AI is going to do this, if some person on the back end is going to do this. Clearly you would say, but you saw the app name. You must know that AI will do this. No real person will do it. But I don't. And most people coming to the App Store are now going to invest the necessary amount of time to understand if a person is going to do it, if AI is going to do it, what's happening. So really what you have here is you're not telling the user what they're going to get, and you're not selling them on it. And that's really the problem with a lot of screenshots. So that's what I would tell Stilit. Now, that's all the time we have. I got through 4, 3 of them with competitors. Let me know if you like the competitors. I'm really interested in your feedback because it does cut down the number of apps that I can do. But if you like the competitors, I'll try to get better at doing them, or maybe find a better way to do it faster, or maybe do more of these live streams so I can cover more apps. All possibilities. But hopefully the takeaway that you have here is, 1, introducing keywords that people are searching for into your screenshots is a positive at this point. Repeat them because Apple likes repetition in screenshots. And also make sure that your screenshots really spell out what the app does, really explain what the app does in benefits over features, in my opinion, but it really depends on what your users are looking for. That's pretty much all I have. Let's see if we have any more questions because we're running out of time. There's always a lot of stuff. Oh, interesting. Okay, someone is telling me that I'm wrong. I like this. So business marketing skills says, but repetition on screenshots is bad. I tested it and over 5 apps got dropped down in ranking by repetition keywords in screenshot. So maybe, in my experience, that's exactly the opposite. It really depends how you did it. If you changed only one thing and that was repetition, I would love to see that experiment and see if there's anything else going on. But in everything that I've seen, repetition was actually the thing that helped. And you can see that across all of the apps that moved from being very low to being very high and pushing the competition down in the beginning of June. So I would love to see what this is. Email me, find me on X and send me some information. I've not seen anything like this. Let's see. Sagar is asking, I want my app metadata also to get Teardown. Where can I submit for the next live? I always ask for submissions in the invite and also in the newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter. That's the best way to see what's going on in our industry, learn, and also know when I'm doing live streams. But also, if you're on the newsletter, you'll get an invite, and that's going to have a link. I had so many submissions that I, again, would love to do all of them. I really can't. I pick a random. That's the best that I can do. But I will continue to do these live streams. I think screenshots and custom product pages are really becoming more than a necessity. It's an amazing opportunity that Apple gave us, and we should be using it to our advantage. That plus keywords is how you succeed on the App Store, especially if you're trying to use something like Apple Ads. And that's all I have for you today. I'm going to be doing this in 2 weeks, so make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to subscribe because you will get a notification every time I go live and if I post in the community. And if you didn't already, give this video a like so YouTube knows that this is amazing. I'm an optimizer. We have to optimize, and likes is how YouTube optimizes and shows this in search results. So that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you're going to change your screenshots, whether it's an A/B test or a custom product page, please let me know. I'm on X, I'm on LinkedIn. Hit me up. I'll give you my thoughts before you go and put those on the App Store. And happy optimizing. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you in the next one.